after about it and if you need it. So we need to pray because the days are not getting better or brighter. They are going to become worse. The day of Jesus' return is soon approaching. And as I said, in Luke's gospel, we read, as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And then in Genesis 6:5, it also says, God saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So, how are we to live in light of these days? What I want to tell you is that God, this doesn't take him by surprise. He knew that you were going to be alive right now. He knew that you were going to be the chosen people to live in California right now. Okay? So don't leave because we need your vote. So those of you that are in other states, we're talking really quick about California. So we want you to be able to vote and to be aware. 1 Peter 5:8 says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. How are we to live in light of what's going on? We are to be sober. It means to be not to be intoxicated. It means to be clear-headed. I like that, to be clear-headed. So not only do we have to be clear-headed, but we need to be keenly aware of what we put into our bodies and minds that could possibly hinder our judgment in this day and age that we need clear judgment so desperately. We are also to be vigilant, meaning to keep careful watch for possible danger or difficulties. It means to be keen-sighted, open-eyed, sharp-eyed. It means to be hawk-eyed. And it means to have an open-eyed awareness, listen to this, like a watchful parent with a toddler in tow. I like that. That's vigilant. You know, when you have a toddler in tow, you are vigilant. You're watching. You're aware of what is going on. That is what it means to be sober-minded and vigilant. Why do we need to be sober-minded and vigilant? Because we have a devil. We have an adversary that is out to take us down. But Jesus tells us in John 10:10 that the thief does not come except to rob, steal, and destroy, but I have come that you may have life, and that more abundantly. There is hope, ladies. We don't live in a hopeless world. Hope is the expectation of coming good. But, we were chosen and selected to live right now. This doesn't take God by surprise that we're living right now. So, whether you're young or middle-aged or older, we need to be sober-minded. We need to be vigilant. We need to be those women of the Word of God. We need to be women that take out the weapons that we were given, the Word of God, the name of Jesus, the power of prayer. These are our weapons, the full armor of God, and we use those things. We have been given them. We need to use them in this day and age in which we're living. But I want to tell you, and this is what I want you to remember. If you don't remember anything else, 1 John 4:4, he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Amen? He who is in you is greater. If you love Jesus as your Lord and Savior and you've asked him to come into your life, he lives inside of you. Therefore, you fall underneath this category. He, Jesus, who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. That is what we need to remember. That we possess something greater than is in the world. And we have Jesus. And we can just say his name, Jesus. And at his name, there is power, right? We read it in the scriptures. There's power in the name of Jesus. Do you believe that? Yes. Okay. I want to hear it again. Do you believe it? Yes. All right. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Jesus is greater. Is Jesus greater? Yes. Say it. Jesus. Okay. It's good to say it. Jesus is greater than whatever it is. He's greater. Not only that, he has good plans for your life. He has plans for you to prosper. He's got good plans for you, ladies. So, Before I introduce Morgan, I want to reiterate something that John said on Sunday, if you go to church here. And it's good. Repetition is the best teacher. So here's a question. Is there any problem in your life right now that the rapture of the church wouldn't solve? What? No. There you go. The answer is no. So we need to get our eyes on Jesus right now because he is coming back. That is the next thing to happen on the calendar, right? Jesus is returning. We need to get our eyes on him. Let me ask you another question. Has anybody thought that this is the year 2020? Am I alone in this? It's the year 2020. What does that mean? Perfect vision, right? Okay, let's take that and make it very practical with all of this that's going on. I just thought of this morning. It's 2020, the year of perfect vision. I don't have more keen vision right now. I have more keen vision right now than I've ever had in my whole life. I'm like zeroed in. I don't know about you, but all of this that has been going on has lit a fire underneath me and has got me like laser focused on the Lord. Right? Amen? Okay, all right? So that's a good thing. Is that not a good thing? It's a good thing. It's a good thing to be focused on Jesus. So, yes, what we want to do is instead of sitting and thinking about all of the things that are wrong and that are awful, let's think about all that God is doing in our life, right? All of the good things that are coming from this. Because if we just change our focus is on the Lord. If we allow him to be our priority and our perspective and our focus, we will have 2020 clear, perfect vision on the Lord. And the Lord uses different things in our lives, right? He's using this right now. And if we will let him use all of these terrible things that are occurring, if we'll let him use it in our life to make our vision keen, to make us sober-minded and vigilant, that's exactly what he's trying to do in our life, to light this fire underneath the church in these last days in which we're living. So we can look at these things like they're awful, which they are, or we can look at them and say, Lord, how do you want to use that in my life? How can that, whatever it is, light that fire underneath me, as Christina saying, create that God of revival in my own heart. And I don't know about you, but God has done a revival in my heart. And he has used this whole everything. I don't even know where to start, what's happened in the last, since March or the beginning of the year. He's used all of that to do it in me personally and in my husband and in our church. And so if we let God do it, he will do it in our lives. So all that to say that I want to ask Morgan to come up here, and we're gonna sit down now, and she's gonna share her story with us. But the last thing I want to share with you is that we are not fighting, ladies, as Ephesians 6:12 says, against powers we are fighting against powers and principalities. We are not fighting against people. Okay, so it's not people. We see the people, but there is a force behind the people, and the force is demonic. It's the devil. So the Bible says clearly in Ephesians 6:12 that our fight is a spiritual one, right? It's against the powers and the principalities. It is not against flesh and blood. It's not against a person. It's against these powers. So all that to say that I want you to know that there is hope in Jesus. And as Morgan and I share right now in the next 45 minutes, we're not going to take questions, but I'm going to ask her some questions. And then if we have time, we have a demonstration at 8:45. So we want to make sure that we're ready for that. But I'm going to go ahead and take a seat and then move this over, and we can get started here with just talking to Morgan. I've invited Morgan to come to share a little bit about a situation that happened that that prompted this whole thing. So this was supposed to be a mom's homeschool night. I'm sorry. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But Morgan had a situation happen, and so I felt that it was very important to get the word out, to let you gals know that things are happening. And of course, I know that many of you have heard things that are occurring right now. And so we want to be those who educate. We're going to educate you. So this is Morgan, and I'm going to let Morgan tell you about herself. And Morgan and I have known each other for quite some time. Our husbands are both senior pastors, so I'm going to let her. She just probably can do a better and faster job at introducing herself than I can. So, Morgan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I am very excited to be with each of you tonight, and good evening. So a little bit about myself. I've been born and raised here in Southern California. I actually had someone just ask me if I was from Minnesota just a couple, right before this started. I guess I have a twang. I've been asked that a billion times if I'm from the South.
Really?
But no, I'm born and raised here in Southern California. I went to Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa High School. It's where I met my husband, Brennan Beeler. And we started dating when I was almost 19 and got married shortly after I turned 21. We church planted at 23. And yeah, we were part of Calvary Chapel Golden Springs. Pastor Raul Reese and Sharon sent us out to start a church. We just celebrated 9 years last weekend, or 2 weekends ago now, I guess. And we have 3 children. We have a 7-year-old boy named Shaden. We have a daughter, Kaiten, who's 5. And then our youngest wild Hulk child is 3 years old, and his name is Brenson. Yeah. And we live in Costa Mesa, California, and we love to serve Jesus. Yeah, that's basically a little bit about me and my family in a nutshell.
So you have 3 kids, and you guys have been married now for how long?
Okay, so we have been married 11 years.
Like when we do the math.
We just celebrated our 11-year anniversary, July 21st.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, July 18th. The 21st is my son's birthday. I get them confused. He was supposed to be born on our anniversary, and I was like, please, Lord, no. And he came 3 days later.
Oh, awesome.
So July 18th.
Okay, so let me ask you a little bit about homeschooling. I'm going to try to hit everybody here. So when did you start homeschooling, and is this new? Is this something that you just started?
No, so I've been homeschooling since my son was in kindergarten, so we're going into 2nd grade, so this will be my 3rd year. We homeschool through a local charter program called Excel Academy, and it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's really challenging.
Okay, well, tell me really quick, what do you find most challenging?
Probably the thing that I find most challenging would be having 2 younger kids that I need to be a mama to, and to keep them occupied as well as have time to school my older child. We start school on Tuesday, and I'll be starting to homeschool my 2nd grader, and my daughter's going into kindergarten. So this will be a new juggle for me. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it, but by the grace of God, I feel like in this season of our life, this is what He's called me to do. I'll be the first person to tell you this is not something I wanted to do or signed up to do. It's something that my husband and I prayed about, and we just felt like that was best for our family. So sometimes the Lord requires us to do something that we don't want to do, but we need to be obedient in that. And through these past 2 years of homeschooling, I can tell you that we've been very blessed as a family. So even though it has some really hard challenges, it also has some really sweet blessings. You only get these kids once, and it's really a fun time just to get to have them at home. My child, one of them, now 2, will be going to classes on Wednesdays. So we kind of do a hybrid, so that's a little bit nice that we have the extra help. So they have a math and a science class that they'll be going to on Wednesdays. So
That's
yeah,
nice.
you just kind of have to find what fits with your family, and then just really pray and ask the Lord for patience. And also don't be afraid to talk to your husband and, maybe he's home right now, maybe he can help you do something, or hey, I'm not going to make dinner, 5 nights a week because this is really challenging, so we're getting pizza on Fridays or something. You got to find what works for your family. There's no right way. You just got to do it. So
True. So I think if you're here, can I just see hands if you're here with us and you are homeschooling by choice? Let's just see. Okay, I say that. Okay, what about those that are homeschooling because you're in that place right now? You're forced to right now because school isn't in session. Okay, that would be me too.
So a lot of people.
Right. So unless your child, I think, is going to like a private school, everybody's homeschooling or online schooling. Let's just call it whatever. Right now. So whether it's your choice or not right now, we find ourselves in this place, right? We all find ourselves in this place. So it's unfamiliar to some people. And so I think for me, because I was a school teacher, I taught in a classroom, and then to go from a classroom to the house, where the kids stay in their pajamas and they're in their bed, and it's just like, wait, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me, the structure. I didn't know. That was just probably my house. Other people probably are more structured. No. Okay, well, I don't know, but that was just us. And so anyways, all that to say, whatever it looks like in your house, I think what Morgan said is true. You have your kids for such a short amount of time. Just redeem the time that you have. And whether you're homeschooling now by choice or because it's where you're at, it's required, it's forced in a sense, just try to make the best of it. I really feel like we can make a big deal every single day, especially with teenagers. I think choose your battles, mamas. Like, are you going to die on this hill? Because if you are, you got to make sure it's a mountain worth dying on. Like, really choose your battles. Whether they're little or big, just do it. Choose your battles. Like, is this really one that I want to just like plant my flag and die here on, or not? Can it go? At the end of the day, what is that going to look like? And I think sometimes if you're like me and you want more structure and it's not like that, it can be difficult homeschooling, or if you're not, I think we have a great resource. We have a lot of women here. Tanya, raise your hand. Okay, Tanya back there is a great resource here for homeschoolers, and you can see her after if you have any questions. So she has been doing this for a long time, and we have a great support here. So I would say find a support system and ask questions and find help if you find yourself struggling, because we need each other. We can't do this alone. And I would just say, honestly, I feel like homeschooling is more for the parent than the child. I learned so much about myself. I'm like, wow, I'm super impatient, Like, don't
Me too.
Don't you feel that? That you learn more about yourself? Like, God is refining you in the process of homeschooling. So I just wanted to address that, because really this evening was supposed to be, I was supposed to be giving a message about raising kids, right? And actually I text Tanya and I said, I already prepared the message. It's actually a really good one. So we're going to catch you gals on round 2. I'll be back and I'll be sharing that message that I have prepared. And it is really encouraging. I told Tanya I was encouraged reading it. So that was weird, but I was super encouraged reading it myself. Anyways, but this brings us to very important things that are occurring right now. We have our kids home. We're in just a very strange predicament. We're just in a strange time in history right now. And we find ourselves just, this new normal is just weird. It's just like, I don't know. The only place I feel normal is here. Yeah. Here in the church, at the beach maybe, and at home. So those 3 places is sort of where I feel the most normal. So let's just go and get into this. So So Morgan, tell us your story, what happened at Target, and just, start from the beginning. This is normally what you do. This was your outing, just the whole thing.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so Mondays, my husband's a pastor, as Michelle said. So Mondays are our day off, and we usually have a fun, family-filled day. That's another reason why I like homeschooling. So if maybe your husband is a firefighter or a police officer and you have like weird schedules, it's really nice to have a family day. So with homeschooling, you get to choose a day off. So that's kind of a benefit. So sometimes I don't do school on Mondays. That's just my right, I guess, of homeschooling. Yeah. But with that being said, that day, I don't usually typically go to a Target. We usually are doing something, but my husband wanted to run an errand, and I said, you know what? I actually don't have quite a few things. It's our son's birthday next week. Like, I want to go to Target, get the groceries that we need, and let Shaden pick out some ideas for gifts. So why don't we just reconvene after that? And he said, sure. So I take my 3 kids to Target on the weekly. That's very normal for me. Sometimes 2 times a week. Target's my jam. It's my happy place. And makes me feel very normal there. But not recently. It's kind of been, I actually have been finding myself not wanting to go very much, just because it's just, I don't want my kids seeing all these people in masks. I don't want my kids to be surrounded by all this craziness. So I do a lot of pickup now. But anyways, that Monday, we were there. I said, okay, you guys, as soon as we're done with all our groceries, if you behave and you're good, I'll take you to the toy aisle and we'll go check things out. And they were like, okay. So we got all of our groceries done. Mind you, this is Monday morning at 11 a.m. There's not very many people there. And we get to the toy section, and right away, I just have this weird feeling, and I see this man standing in the toy aisle, and I'm like, that's kind of weird, but okay. And I thought maybe to myself, well, maybe I'm feeling this way because he's wearing a mask, and so I just kind of got like a weird, creepy feeling, and I just discounted that feeling. I was like, okay, Morgan, everyone's in a mask, like it's not a big deal. So we just continued going on, looking at our toys, and as I said, I have 3 kids. I let them all get out, and they're all different ages, and I have a daughter, so they're all looking at different things. I could see all of them, but they're kind of going in 3 different directions, as you would expect. And so I still see this man, and he's just kind of like looking at my kids, and I'm like, I just have a weird feeling about this. So I just kept my eye on it. I didn't say anything to them, and I'm just letting them look, and next thing I know, I don't see him anymore, but he started like kind of going in a half moon direction. He would go on one side of me, on the aisle next to me, and come and like look at my kids. And then he'd come on the aisle on the other side of me and look at my kids. And I just kept looking at him, and I'm like, this is so weird. And if you saw the video that my husband and I did when we were interviewed on Facebook or Instagram, I didn't mention this, but there was a man at the double exit doors when I was on that aisle, and I had noticed that he was kind of fidgeting with the key. It was an alarmed door, and I didn't really think about it till some time after, but I'm pretty sure he was dismantling the alarm or doing something to where the alarm wouldn't go off. So there was one man there, and then he was gone. And so the other man that I saw originally, he was doing this canvas thing. Well, I had found myself scooting towards the back of the store. At this Target in particular, the toy aisle all the toy aisles are against the back of the building. So I had found myself all the way at the very back of the building at the double exit doors. And I'm standing there, and I have a cart in front of me. I have a child on this side and 2 children on this side. And there'd be no way I could like grab them. I could see them, but I was not in arm's length distance. At that point, when I was at those double exit doors, the man had gone back on the other aisle on the other side of me and started to walk towards me at the double exit doors. When I was there, I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, Morgan, you were right. Like this, he's going to do something. He's going to try to hurt you. He's going to try and take the kids. He's going to do something. And at that moment, I knew I could not physically protect any of my children. Maybe I could grab one. I did not know what to do except for the fact, like, here's my one opportunity to try and save all three of my children. So I just said, you guys, this man right here is making mommy extremely uncomfortable. Something in the tone of my voice, or I honestly believe it was by the grace and goodness and faithfulness of God. All three of my children listened on the first time on a toy aisle. Now, if that isn't God, I don't know who it is, because honestly, my children do not obey on the toy aisle. I have to tell them, okay, you guys, we're leaving, or I have to give them like 5-minute warning, 2-minute warning, 30-second warning.
Right.
Okay, we have 10 seconds. I'm counting down. We're leaving in 10, 9, 8, let's go. No, they listened. They immediately listened. I said, you guys, let's go. Get over here now. All of them came to me. I was really nervous because I did not know what he was going to do. I grabbed my 3-year-old, which my 3-year-old is in the terrible 3s. I think terrible 3s are way worse than terrible 2s. We can battle that out later if you want. But for sure, he is in a very trying time of his life. And so he wants to do anything that my older children do. So if they're out of the cart, he wants to be out of the cart because he's big and he is not a baby, and he tells me that all the time. So I just said, Brenson, we got to get in. I picked him up, I put him in, and I was literally praying, Lord, please, no fight, please. That's all I could say was like, no fight, please. Like I was trembling. And I put him in, and Brenson did not make a peep, not a sound. He held on to the grocery cart like a perfectly 3-year-old child would. That belongs to a Christian family, and whose dad is a pastor. And so then my daughter, I grabbed her, I said, Kaiten, I just put her on top of all the groceries, and I said, you stay in there no matter what. And she's like, okay, Mommy. And I looked at my oldest, and I said, Shaden, you hold my hand as tight as you can, and you do not let go no matter what. And he looked at me, he said, okay, Mommy. And I grabbed him. Well, mind you, I'm looking at this man the whole entire time that I'm doing this, and I see in his hand, because he turned away, as soon as I started moving and going in action, he got upset, turned around, and walked in the opposite direction. Well, I don't know why, but my eyes went directly to his hand, and he had 3 cell phones. And I just thought, okay, that is for sure strange. Like, okay, 2, I can see you have a personal and a work phone, but 3, and I don't know why I saw that. I don't know why the Lord allowed me to see that, but I saw that, and to me, it verified, like, something's going down. So I just said, okay, come on, you guys. I knew all I wanted to do. No one was around. Not a single soul was around, and I'm just thinking, I need to get to the middle aisle. I know there will be at least someone there, or like a person that works there, or somebody. So all I could think was just get going, because you're almost paralyzed, like, oh my, like, I don't know what to do right now. So I just literally took them all. I walked. I was like paranoid mama, like holding so tightly, like I think I maybe made my son bleed, maybe, because I was like holding him so tightly. Like I remember him going like, Mom, you can let go, and I was like, I don't want to ever let go. Like it was just that scary. And I get out to the middle, and I'm watching him because he had gone back down the aisle next to me, so I couldn't see him. Well, as I got to the middle aisle in between men's and toys, I look, and he had met up with another man. And I just was like, oh my goodness, I knew something was strange. 1, he didn't have a grocery cart. 2, he didn't have anything pertaining to groceries in his hands. 3, he had no children whatsoever, not a wife, nothing. And so when I saw that he was with another man, I'm like, okay, this just literally almost went down. And I just was like, okay, Morgan, it's the middle of the day, just get to the checkout. And all I could think about was getting out. And so I just kept an eye. He stopped following me. I made it all the way through the line. There was a person in front of me, a person behind me, and I just kept watching to see if like he was still eyeing my kids. And so I knew I had parked in the second stall in the very front. It was broad daylight. I knew, it was 12 o'clock now. I'd be fine. I didn't tell anybody. I just wanted to get home. I just wanted to know that my babies were going to be safe and fine. And so I got outside, and I could remember someone telling me, don't ever let your kids get in on opposite sides of the car. And so then I was thinking, well, if there were 3 people inside, there's got to be people outside. They could have been like calling to let them know that here I am, I'm coming. So all I could think of was put them all in on one side. So you're not supposed to unlock all your doors. You're only supposed to unlock one door. And I have small kids. I'm not talking about but honestly, they're abducting all the way up to adults. So maybe, sorry, 15-year-olds, just listen to your mom. It's not because they want to make your life misery. They just love you, whether you think it or not, whether you believe it or not. So I just remember, okay, open one door. I put them all in one side, and I locked it. And then I just left the car, got in the car, locked it, and just got out of there as quickly as possible. So I get home, and I tell my husband, and I'm like, oh, it was just so weird. I had this happen to me. I called my mom. I told her. And it didn't truly affect me when I was home. I was like, oh, Lord, you're so good. Thank you for getting me out of this situation. Like, wow, I'm just so thankful. I have 3 kids that are home, and I was just really, really thankful. So that happened. That's like the main story. Actually, nothing happened, which is really an amazing testimony of only God's faithfulness and protection over my family. That was Monday. Come Friday, my son's in skateboarding lessons, and so which he does part of homeschool. That's his PE. So that's kind of cool. You get to do cool stuff like that that they're into. So homeschooling gives you a lot of avenues. But anyways, I only took 2 of my kids to skateboarding. My youngest was sleeping, and my husband's at home right now. So I just said, I'm going to take the older 2. Brent is going to sleep for a little bit. He said, okay. And I said, if he's still sleeping while you're working, I'll go to Costco after. So I went to Costco, and I just ever so quickly said to my 2 older kids, hey, you guys, remember what happened on Monday? Just stay really close to mommy, okay? Okay, no problem. So my daughter loves to be a mommy, and she carries her babies in a baby carrier. And we're in Costco, and we're walking around. My oldest son is inside the cart, and my daughter is next to me holding my hand, and we're grocery shopping. Well, I'm at the meat counter, and I'm looking at meat. Well, a woman approaches me from behind, and she says, oh, is that your baby? And I was like, what? Excuse me? And then I realized in my own heart something had affected me really deeply, because I'm not that type of person. I would just like, oh, hi, yeah, sure, But I was thinking she was referring to my child as a baby, but she was referring to my daughter's baby and just making a comment on like how cute that was. Well, come to find out, she worked there. She was my age, and I realized, okay, Morgan, you're acting a little bit paranoid, like something's bothering you. So I realized the rest of the store, I was kind of getting very anxious and upset and frustrated, and so I just finished my shopping, and I got out and I got home. Later that evening, I was telling my husband, Brennan, I was like, this is just weird. This happened to me, and I just haven't felt right all day today. I'm very emotional, and it wasn't that time. I just was having some, literally just going through some things within my heart. And I didn't realize how much that Target incident started affecting me. Well, one of our board members sent us a text message while I was talking to Brennan and explaining to him kind of how my day was going. And it was about that whole Wayfair scandal. Whether or not you believe it's true or not, that's fine. It just really, I don't put it past them. They're evil. They could do anything. It affected me. It really bothered me so much, because I just broke down in tears, and I just said, that could have been our daughter. they could have taken her and sold her in a cabinet, very easily. That could have been her. And so I just started to realize, like, oh my goodness, this is really bothering me. And my husband we got a phone call from my brother-in-law, and so they were talking, and I walked away, and I immediately just experienced something I've never experienced before, and it was an anxiety attack. I'm a pastor's wife. I've been a Christian my whole life. I accepted Jesus when I was 8 years old, and I was captive by fear that night. And I was just sitting there, and I was so afraid, and I just started bawling, and I started shaking, and I allowed fear to have a full-on party in my heart, in my mind. It like captivated me. And so I knew that my husband was talking, and he had already like spent so much time talking to me through a lot of things. And then I just called my sister-in-law, and I was like, I need to tell you something that happened. And she said, tell me. And I told her the whole story, and she's like, oh my goodness. And she could tell, like, I was just not my normal self. And she's like, I really think you're experiencing a panic attack or an anxiety attack. Like, we need to be praying. And so we just literally started praying and praying and praying. And then I was able to calm down, and we hung up, and I went straight to Brennan, and I just started apologizing. Like, I am so sorry, Brennan. I didn't do everything that I should have done. I didn't even tell Target Security. I should have told that man straight to his face, I know what you're doing. Stay away from my kids. I should have done this, and I should have done that. And he just grabbed me, and he said, Morgan, they're home in their beds. You did everything that you could do to save our kids. And I said, I know, but Brennan, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I'm supposed to be taking these thoughts captive. I know how to fight these types of things, but I physically feel like I can't. And we went to bed, and we fought spiritually for 3 hours, like till 3 a.m. I was battling this fear that I've talked to people about for so many years. And I was talking to them and telling them how to do it. And I could hear everything that I was saying. And the Lord was like, I'm requiring you to go through this now, because you're going to live it, and you're going to do what you're telling other people to do, because I love you, and I care about you, and I want you to grow in this. I'm going to use this to bring glory to my name. And so I read every scripture on fear that I possibly could read. I blasted Christian music, because that's where I felt so much peace. And my husband just prayed and prayed and prayed over me until I fell asleep. And so I experienced my very first anxiety attack, and it was really scary. And I started telling my husband, I don't want to go anywhere anymore. I don't want to go to Target. I don't want to do this. Like, I told him, I used to take our kids to Disneyland, all 3 of them by myself. And I looked at him like, what does that accomplish? What does that even mean? And he's like, why are you freaking out? And I'm like, I just don't know why I put all this pressure on me of, well, I can do it. Who cares if I have 3 kids? I'll do whatever I can. I can go here. I can do that. And I really feel like the Lord allowed that opportunity to happen in my life. One, to show me, Morgan, these are not your kids. They're mine, and I've given them to you. And I'm in control. You're not in control, even though you think that you are. And it was so humbling for me to come to this point, because I literally had to just sit back and ask the Lord to forgive me, because I didn't even realize how I was the one that would protect them. I was the one that's going to take them here and there, and I could do it. In reality, that situation showed me right then and there, I could not do one thing to protect them. If he grabbed one, what am I going to do? I could try and save 2, but I can't save 3. And maybe I could only save 1. And come to find out, if there was 3 guys in there and no one's around, they could have all taken my kids. So it just showed me right then and there, like, Morgan, you're not in control. I'm in control. And you need to trust in me like you say you do. Trust in me with all of your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, but in all of your ways acknowledge him, for he will direct my path. And I was having to really wrestle with these promises of God's word that he's given to me in all different types of situations, but to really walk these out and to realize that the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. And that is one of the main scriptures that I teach my children all the time is, the Lord's our helper. We don't need to be afraid. God is who he says he is. We can walk confidently without fear because God is victorious. Like we sang tonight, he has overcome. He has won the battle. He is victorious. Yeah, maybe the enemy thinks he wins a couple little battles here and there, but it does not matter because we know who is victorious, who is going to win it all. We already know. Yeah. Jesus already, Amen. He already Amen. Did it. It's already finished. Yeah. And so we as Christians, doesn't matter what happens to us or what God allows to happen in our lives, we can trust in God with all of our hearts, knowing that in the end, we're his and we're going to be in heaven and our kids are going to be there too. And so it's just been some crazy things through all of this that has happened. I actually had a detective from Newport Beach call me, which I was like, oh no, what did I do? I didn't know if I was going to get in trouble for sharing this publicly. I didn't know, and I was really fearful to even call back. But I'm like, it's a detective. You can't not call a detective back. So I called her, and she was amazing, and she was very sweet and very kind. And I just asked her, I just said, well, you work in this field. I'm obviously very new to all of this, and I have 3 kids, as you know, and what could I have done different? And she gave me quite a few lists of things, and she said, first of all, I don't think you could have done anything differently. She said, your kids are home with you. And I was like, wow, that's really nice of you to say, but honestly, what could I have done differently? And she's like, no, she's like, from a mom to a mom. She's like, this is what I would tell any mom. And I was going to share them with you because this is a detective, and this is what she does. And she has kids. She's actually a soccer mom. I thought she was really cool. I just felt more comfortable around her because she would get where I'm coming from because of a mom. But she said, number 1, you collect your child when you're in a situation like that. Number 1, you collect your child. Number 2, always be with people. Just don't, if you have to go to the store by yourself, then okay, but try to leave a couple of the kids home if you can. But always be with somebody else so there's another person that has an eye on your kid. 3, you draw attention to the situation. 4, she said this is what you could have done a little bit different. Was you could speak out loud. I was kind of afraid. I didn't know what to say, so I kind of just talked to my kids. But don't be afraid, she said, to confront them, to let them know, hey, I know what you're doing. And it's better to be wrong and apologize later than it is to be right and too late.
Right.
And then number 5, she said, go with your gut feeling and get out of there. And number 6, while you're doing these things, you're changing their plan, which they get really upset about, and they only want easy. They don't want difficult. They don't want to fight. So more often than not, they give up. That's why he walked away from me, because I messed up his plan of attack. And then number 7, she said, don't be hard on yourself. And so those were practical things that we as women could do as we're in our local grocery stores and anywhere, actually.
I'm going to add to that really quick. My friend sent me these 4 A's to prevent abduction. The first, I don't know if you know Victor Marx, these are his A's. First is awareness.
Yes.
So he says, be educated. That's what we're seeking to do tonight. Okay, we're seeking to educate you. So get training on how to protect yourself in a crisis situation. So awareness. 2, assess, meaning assess your surroundings. Get off of your cell phone and look around, ladies. What happens is we often, we park somewhere, we get right on our phone, we're looking around, we're not assessing the situation. Have you parked next to a van? Are you in a parking garage? I don't recommend that. Have you parked, are you out at night? Are you in a well-lit area? Are there a lot of people around? Assess the situation. So number 1 is aware. Here we bring in awareness. Assess the situation. Number 2. 3, avoid. Avoid dangerous places and dangerous people. Park by others. park in well-lit places. Don't park underground. Be mindful of where you're parking. Like Morgan says, she parked right in the front. Don't park really far away to get your steps in or whatever. Like, park close, around a lot of people. Number 4 is act. Act wisely. Act quickly, like Morgan did. Act confidently. Stare them in the eye. I'm just going to say this. If they're taking pictures of you, turn around and take pictures of them. Yeah. If they're videoing you, turn around and video them. Because one thing Morgan doesn't have is any pictures or video of this person. I don't know if Target had any video camera footage.
Yeah, they did, but they didn't go through any of it with us. But that was the one thing that made me really frustrated is they wanted me to identify him. And I'm like, have you looked around? Yeah. Everyone's in a mask. I can't tell you anything other than he had jeans, I think a baby blue polo shirt, and long mullet curly black hair.
So that's pretty good,
really
actually.
Really
right?
inviting.
That's a pretty good description. So, did he have a hat on? No? Just picture this. If you have a hat on and a mask which covers like this much of your face and a hat, and then let's add sunglasses to it, your whole face is covered, right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
So we need to behave wisely. Mm-hmm. And Morgan's story, I want you to share about the people that DM'd you after that, and then all of the faces of your friends, the 15.
Yes. So, as I said, I didn't tell anybody except for my husband and my mom, and then my sister-in-law, and actually Katie, who's here too, and a couple other friends, actually, now that I think about it. Wow. Well, 2 of them are, I see all 3 of them, and I'm like, I told all of them. Okay. I'm lying. Right there. There's 2 more. Okay. So I told some people. But it didn't, like I said, it didn't affect me until that Friday I had a similar incident. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not similar in any way. Just a lady approached me from behind, and that's what caused me to feel this weird, I don't know, panic, I guess. I guess we just need to call it what it was, panic. Mm-hmm. And so, that night, I just felt like, oh my goodness, I literally have gone to this Target for so many years. I went to high school right there in Costa Mesa. I have so many friends that live in this community that I've seen at this Target. And so I literally felt like the Lord was like, you need to share this because people might think, one girl, she said that I was only sharing this because it was propaganda against the mask. Like, no, it wasn't. She said it wasn't a true story. And I'm like, okay, you don't know me, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. I knew in my heart and my mind that I needed other people. If this could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. So I decided to write exactly what happened on my Insta story. And I had an overwhelming response. This happened at this Costco, yes, or at this Target, yes. I cannot believe this happened. But the thing that caught me and just, I couldn't believe it. I had over 15 of my friends in my community. Now, mind you, I don't talk to these people on a daily basis, but just, we're friends on social media, or I've known them through school or whatever. They said, Morgan, this exact same thing happened to me at the exact same Target. And I was like, over 15 people in my community this has happened to? I was blown away. And I'm like, and none of us are talking about it. Mm-hmm. We need to. The Bible says to be on guard, to stand firm in our faith, to be courageous, and to be strong. And I feel like the Lord allowed.
That's what it says on the back of your shirt.
Oh, yeah. Be bold. So this literally, I felt like the Lord kind of allowed this to happen in my life to wake me up, to wake my friends up, to let people know. Like this, my good friend right here, she worked at A21, which is a human trafficking nonprofit, and I've known a lot about it through her, but I didn't realize how much it was happening in our own communities, in our own homes, where we live our daily life. She probably told me, so she probably left that part out, so I wouldn't freak out.
Tell them about the what you found out about Anaheim.
Yeah, so I came to find out that California is the #1 state for human trafficking. The USA is the biggest provider and consumer in this awful atrocity. Over 800,000 kids go missing in the USA a year. Anaheim is one of the very top cities in our state. If you think about it, there's the convention center, there's Disneyland, there's Great Wolf Lodge, there's a ton of hotels in surrounding areas, a ton of freeways where you can get to anywhere that you need to be in a very quick amount of time. So I've learned that these are it's happening right here and right now. So you kind of start to think like, oh, that happens in third world countries, or oh, that happens there. But no, it's happening here. And through this pandemic, it's caused these people to now infiltrate grocery stores, infiltrate Walmarts, infiltrate Targets because Disneyland's closed.
Can you tell me about Whole Foods?
Yes, and I have two more friends that actually messaged me that something similar happened to me at a Whole Foods and then at a Mother's. And what they did, this person's actually here, but she shared with me that they used a 10-year-old boy at the Whole Foods in Fashion Island, Newport Beach. This is happening in your backyards. They used this 10-year-old boy to come in, and he is following you and taking pictures of her daughter. She's beautiful, she's young, and they take pictures. Well, then she sees that this little boy goes to this man and shows him the pictures. And the mom's very upset, and she goes and gets security, and she gets them involved. Well, they ended up calling police. They escorted them out, and they don't know what ended up happening through all of that, but they now are not only, it's not just men that you guys need to know, it's also women, and it's also children, and they're using children. I had another friend at a Mother's Market. This happened just like a few weeks before it happened to me, and it was a little boy, 10 years old, and no parent around, and they walk in. She has a son that's the same age as mine, and she notices right away that there's this 10-year-old boy approaching her son and like, tag, you're it, tag, you're it. And my friend is like, where's your mom? And he like doesn't say anything, and he's just like telling, which she didn't know at the time, was telling your son, I'm your friend. You don't have to be afraid of me. Come play with me. And she's like, it was a kid, so I just didn't think twice about it, really. I mean, I thought it was a little bit weird. And so, you know, her son's kind of like, I mean, when you're tagging a 7-year-old boy, obviously the boy's gonna be like, I'm gonna play. So she like kept a close eye on him and kept saying, no, you need to come back, come back, come back. And he followed them throughout the whole store. Well, it's time to check out. And her son says, Mom, this guy says he can drive and his car is outside these double doors. And my friend is like, obviously this kid can't drive, like, no way. So she looks at the cash register clerk, and like they look at each other, and they whisper, security. And so they see security start to approach. The boy sees security, runs straight back to the double doors, and they run after him. Well, there was a getaway car or something because he was nowhere to be found.
Wow.
So actually, the detective that called me, she looked into both of those cases, and she called both of those girls and talked to them and wanted to get down to the bottom of that because her jurisdiction was Newport Beach, and so she wanted to know what was happening within their grocery stores. So I guess they've seen, you know, leaps and bounds of incidences like this happen within those types of places because the normal places where you would get kids aren't.
So this is, and then you also said they're planting teenage girls in high schools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So they even register as high school students, and they befriend these girls, and then they become their friends, and, would you like to make some extra money or whatever? And they usually try to find girls that are, maybe hurting, or maybe don't have like a father figure, or just someone who's having hard financial times, or like those, like people like that, because they know that they're able to, they'll want to make money, and then next thing you know, you're within an awful situation.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted Morgan to share that, all of these stories. So because Morgan shared her story, and then she heard another story, and another one, and 15, and 20, and it just keeps going on. And so what we want to share with you is it's not just children, it's adults, it's it's teenagers, that sort of thing. I don't know if you heard what happened in San Clemente at the San Clemente outlets. 3 teenage girls, same thing. Praise God that one of the girls got on the phone with her mom, and the mom called the police. She wasn't even at the outlets. So I'm like, it's just outrageous. So I think it's everywhere. When it's in your backyard, you start opening your eyes. Like, it's Fashion Island, it's Costa Mesa, it's San Clemente, Mission Viejo. I heard a story of West Covina and the West Covina Mall. Wow, I'm just like, it's amazing what, and I'm asking people, send me, so that I can know what's going on, so I can inform you. And again, we're sharing with you not so you're afraid, but so that you have awareness. And so our heart is that you will be mindful that, what did we start with, right? Didn't we say to be sober-minded and vigilant, right? So we need to be aware of our surroundings. We need to go back through those A's. We need to act. We need to assess. We need to, I forgot them. Avoid. And awareness. We were doing that. So those are the 4 of them. So we need to do these things. We need to be aware. We need to get off of our phones. We need to look at our surroundings. We need to see what's going on, and so that we can be preventative. Now, a couple things that I have done recently, and I wanted to share with you really quick before we have our demonstration, is the first thing. What do you always have in your hand? Okay. Well, normally, so besides pepper spray, which I have too. Yeah, I have that. So I got all my stuff right here. I'm going to show you. Okay, so we always have our phones in our hand, correct? Okay. I have a key fob, so I just got all this on my keys because I'm making myself carry keys in my hand now. But it's like somewhere in the bottom of my purse. I'm looking for it because you don't need it, right? You just know, oh, it's in my car. I mean, it's in my purse so I can open my car. But we have our phones. Okay, so if you don't know how to do this, I'm quickly going to take you through how to do this. Did you know that there's an SOS? How many know there's an SOS on your phone? How many have it set up? How many have accidentally done it? Okay. So what I want to tell you, for those of you who don't know, I want to take it a step further, because Michaela, are you here? Michaela taught me how to do this. Her father is the police chief of Riverside. So she taught me how to do this. A couple of things she taught me, like stare them down, like, oh no, you didn't. Like, you're not messing with me or my kids or anything. Don't be afraid. It's kind of like, whoa, you were talking about. Okay, so really quick, we have instructions, I think. So go to settings on your phone. Does everybody know where that is? Open it up. Okay. I don't know, I've got some people here that might not know. Okay, scroll down to emergency SOS. Emergency SOS, see it?
Yep.
Okay. Then there's 2 buttons. There it says call with side button and auto call. Turn them both on. So see over there, flip them both to the right. So they're now green. Okay. And then it says, see to the far right, it says add emergency contact. Press that, add emergency contact, and what that will do is then you put every contact you want in there. So I put all of my kids, my husband and my daughter-in-laws, my whole family. So what happens now when I have those emergency contacts there is that when I press this side button right here at your thumb, when I press that 5 times, it immediately calls 911. It sounds an alarm on my phone out loud, and it lets those people know on my emergency contact. It drops my location where I'm at. Okay? Take a picture. Right there. Do you have an Apple? Okay. I'll talk to you after. Michaela will talk to you after. She's the one who showed me how to do this just Sunday. I got this set up, so I'm just kind of telling you. Okay, so this is a great resource to have because we always have our phone, and those of you online as well, take a look at this. Just keep that up, Josh, really quick. We have our phones in our hand more than our keys, correct? So, the next thing that I got really quick is you want to put up I got a birdie. I know Sammy's here. She told me about the birdie. So I got one for me and my daughter. It looks like, those are my key ring. It looks like this. So it has this big handle and then this. And I'm going to pull it so you guys know how loud it is. So it's pretty loud when you're... It's really loud up here right now, I'm just going to tell you. It's like you need your glasses to put it back on. Wow. Okay, there it goes. Woo! Okay, anyways, it works really good. Did you try yours, Sammy? You tried it? Okay, you need to do it. Okay. So we both did it. We tried it outside. The next thing is pepper spray that you can have. You want to do the next slide? So my daughter and I both ordered this Bling Sting. It's really cute, pepper spray. You carry it. We just ordered it the other day. It's really cute. It's like bedazzled pepper spray, just saying. So it looks cute on your key ring. Just one other thing for me to carry on this huge, gigantic key ring. I feel like a janitor. Wow. Okay, but... So now, and some people have other things. This same company has a taser that's bedazzled. It's really cute. And then they've got one. They do. I love that. And then they also have a bedazzled one of these thingies, these birdie things. So if you go to blingsting.com, tell them I sent you. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways. Those are a couple very practical things. This pepper spray is, it's used with one, I don't know about other ones, but this particular one, it was given to me by a security guard. So you lift it with your thumb and you press it. So it's one thing, lift and press. So you don't have to try to do anything else. I also have a taser, but you have to do other things. And I'm like, I think hopefully I'm good, with all this stuff. In addition to that, so we have our demonstration here. We have invited an instructor from OC Krav Maga, and he and his son are going to be doing our self-defense class. So I asked if he would come and demonstrate just a couple things on Morgan, or you can, whatever you want to do. So come on up. I'll have him maybe use your mic. So, okay, so this is Morgan. Do you need a mic?
No, I think I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Okay, can you hear? Well, we have people watching online too. So if you need this, you want to go over here maybe? Do you need room? Or are you good? Okay, is that plenty of room? Okay, so basically if you can just share maybe something with these gals that can be very helpful if they were in a crisis situation, or maybe some tips.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. My name is Yuri Boyarsky. Thank you very much for coming. I'm one of the owners for Krav Maga of Orange County. We provide self-defense training.
There you
Hello?
go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. not really fond of that, but that's
good.
okay.
It's okay.
Usually
yeah,
I have
yeah, yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
But my name is Yuri Boyarsky. I'm with Krav Maga of Orange County. We provide self-defense training for civilians, law enforcement, and military. A lot of women's seminars. We do that regularly, probably on a normal time, probably at least 400 or 500 women a year or more that we're addressing. I noticed that you saw about pepper spray, effective tool. One comment I would recommend is use the gel versus the spray,
Okay.
because when the wind shifts or you're going into that spray, you're going to be the recipient of that, versus a gel, which is a more directional
Okay.
spray, and it's much harder for the attacker to remove.
Okay.
Okay, so not. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is,
Okay.
and it's relatively new, maybe in the last year and a half. I wouldn't recommend a brand particularly. You have to see what color with this thing.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
preference issue. Okay. A quick just concept as far as confrontations, so you can just understand that when we go into a confrontation, it's going to be a very quick one. How long do you think a confrontation is going to last? Just throw a number without thinking.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, 2 seconds, 7 seconds, minutes. Okay. On average, your confrontation should last around 3 to 5 seconds.
Wow.
You kick him, you punch him, you spit at him, you run.
Okay.
Okay? Why 3 to 5 seconds? Because that's how long it will take for his body to jump on you. There's going to be multiple attackers. Don't assume that you're going to be one person. I understand we will be doing
Yeah.
training in about a week and a half. You're more than welcome to come. So everything is going to be fast. Everything is going to be fast. Everything is going to be aggressive. Who do you think is going to win in a confrontation? The predator.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? The craziest person wins. Okay? The craziest person wins. The person in front of you might be mentally challenged or whatever it is, but their sole focus in life at this particular point is to hurt you bad and fast. So unless you're going to be at that level of focus, you're already lost. Okay? There's no hesitation. There's no nothing at that point. You or them, it's you defending yourself, your family, others. Okay? The decision has to be done, me or you, boom, you go. Very, very fast. Okay? Same thing applies when we address people, okay? Meaning when we have a verbal and physical confrontation. I'm not going to go into it. We're going to have a whole set of classes that addresses that. But if we have a confrontation, the louder you are, the better you off, okay? If I'm just saying, hey, back away, okay. You're laughing. See, that's the response. If I say, back away!
Whoa.
So that is a response.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Good.
volume,
Good.
I like this
Yeah.
This is what fixed. Two things are happening, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The attacker wasn't ready.
Right. Right.
Okay, he's like, you're crazy, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Right.
The other thing is, everyone else says, what happened?
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's how you create attention. If you don't have, a device, you always have your voice, you always have hands, legs, feet, everything else. Okay? So that's the basis. Okay? Like anything else, it requires practice. Not everyone is like comfortable yelling at people. Get used to it. Okay? Get used to being loud, nasty. Okay? Because if we have a confrontation, what I want you to do is this. You're left-handed, right-handed? Right, okay. So I want you to do a very simple thing. Take your left leg forward, okay? Hands down. Just put it here like you tell me stop, okay? Lean a bit forward. There we go. Like you're going to push a wall. Okay. This is the position of what we call power stance or fighting stance. This transmits, hey, I'm ready, don't mess with me. Very, very simple. So go back. When I say go, you go into that position. Okay? Ready? Go. Yeah, good. She's like, good. Okay, even for me, it's like, okay, ready. Okay? So from here, all I want you to do is say, what do you want? Back away now. Louder, louder, and louder. Convince me not to mess with you and put you into that wall. Understand? Okay. Good. Make sense?
I know why you're asking me to do this.
Guys, listen, why am I telling you before physical? Because 80% of all confrontations are verbal. 80%. 80% of all your confrontations are going to be verbal. You cut me off, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay, if you cannot be here, then we'll have to go to physical.
Okay.
If I'm coming here and I'm mad
Yeah.
because you cut me off, whatever it is, okay, I want to take this, and if you stand your ground, I might be like a dog, barking.
Right.
But barking dogs don't bite.
Right.
Okay, so I might, and we're leaving.
Yeah.
Closer than that, we're going to already start going through, and depends how much time I have. I have a couple of minutes. Okay, so I'm going to be yelling at you a little bit. Okay, you just stand your ground. Okay, what do you want? Back away now, and just like a broken record, you're going to just repeat what you say. Understand? Okay. What's your name?
Morgan.
Oh, nice to meet you. This is how we meet. This is the new 2020. Okay. Okay,
Pretend
so
like this
fighting
is in
stance.
Target and this is your kids. You do
Okay.
it.
Say, what do you want?
What do you want?
Say, back away.
Back away.
Back away now.
Back away now.
Don't tell me to back away. Say, back away now.
Back away now.
Don't tell me to back away.
Back away now.
You're crazy. Time. Feel adrenalized?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is. It's good.
But I kind of feel like a scared bear.
That's an interesting approach. The point is, it doesn't matter what you feel. The
You're a
question is
mama
what you
bear.
project.
Yeah, yeah.
And what you project is like, don't mess with me. And I
Yeah.
can yell and curse from here to the wazoo, but I'm looking, this is too much work for me. Forget this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into profanities, but basically that's what it means. Okay? This is how you deter a person.
Okay.
Because most people, when they start a confrontation, they feel powerful. And they don't expect you to resist. They expect you to fold. Okay? Like when I was saying back away and everyone is laughing, yeah, he's not here. But when I started yelling and she started yelling at me, I was like, yeah, okay, I can yell. But I didn't think about moving forward and doing this. Okay? If we are coming to a confrontation, going into a confrontation, we have what we call a timeline. Long range, legs. Shorter, a closer range, medium range, hands. Close at that, elbows, knees, head, butt, spitting, biting, take the eyes out, get out. Because if you don't, the attacker already going to do it. His commands are given. You can't change him, okay? There's no reasoning at that point, okay? He's going to do what he wants to do unless he sees you crazy enough to do exactly the same thing. It's really that simple. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me get the pad so you can practice it.
Pads.
Don't worry, I need it to be physical.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be. So, for training purposes, all I want you to do, have you ever done kicks or kickboxing or, cardio or something? Okay? Okay? This you can do. Imagine, bring the knee up. Imagine you have gum on your shoe. Flick it off and bring it back. Understand? I want you to kick with your shin through this target. Okay? Fighting stance. Let's come over here a bit. Can you all see me? Good. Ready?
My shin.
With your shin. Go. Kick.
Wow. Morgan. Yeah. Woo! Yes, Morgan.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. She broke it.
It's okay.
I don't know.
No, it's on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to stand here. We're going to have a verbal confrontation, okay? Something happens. You couldn't convince me to, deter me with your verbal. I'm going to charge at you. As I charge at you, you're just going to kick. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put this on the side. You can just watch.
This is serious. You're doing good.
How long was that? But 6, 7
Yeah,
seconds, right?
yeah.
No, more like 4 or 5. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking
Yes, good job, girl.
Good job. This is a very basic approach, okay? They're basically keeping their ground. The person, you can't determine for whatever reason. They charge, you go, okay? If it was closer than that, it probably would have been with hands closer to that, elbows, knees, spitting, whatever that is. But that's how it addresses things. Very, very simple. Any questions so far? Okay?
That's great.
Notice it doesn't take long to do something like that. What it requires is repetition and a little bit confidence that you can do it. And yes, you can. Okay? The only person that can help here is you. Okay? If a typical police response is 2 minutes and I need 3 to 5 seconds, that's like eternity.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not even talking about reaching to your phone and being ready and so forth and so forth. This kick and allow you to go away and now regroup and call the help and so forth. That's how we approach things. Okay? I need to take care of this issue now, okay, because I'm protecting myself, family, and so forth and so forth. And then I can retreat, I can regroup, I can call for help, or just get out. Okay? Notice it doesn't take a lot of training. Okay? It's just a matter of mindset. So yes, they think you're weak, you show them otherwise. And you show them fast, hard, and
Yeah.
move.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yeah. Thank you. We switch chairs. You're good. So we are going to have another class on the 25th. Friday, the 25th. If you did not get into this class, they'll be back for another class at what time?
We're probably going to do again, same kind of thing, like 4:30, 6.
4:30 and 6. So we will have that up. If you didn't get in, our class is sold out for the 11th. And we have children's classes as well, ages 7 to 14, and then 7 to 13 and 14 and up for the 2 each. So on the 25th, we will make sure, we'll let you know when those classes are available. They should be online soon. We'll get the registration here in the next few days for you gals who did not get registered for these classes. They'll be back with us. And thank you for coming. We appreciate that. Appreciate it. Thank you. And Morgan, what a great job. What a great sport. I'm so glad I didn't have to do that. But I'm looking forward to learning how to yell like that and kick like that. That was great.
That's homeschooling. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
So that's awesome. Well, ladies, I know we kept you a little bit longer than 9, so it's 9:09 actually. But I just want to thank you for coming. I pray that you are aware and informed, and you feel a little bit more confident leaving than you did coming in. Do you? Okay. All right. So let's pray, and then we'll let you go. We'll dismiss you. Lord, we do love you and thank you, and I thank you for Morgan. I thank you, praise you that she and her children are safe, God. Thank you that you did have her, she was aware of her surroundings, God, that she put into practice everything she knew how to do, God. And I thank you, Lord, that now she's learning even more, God, how to protect herself and protect her children, and we are as well, Lord. So we do pray, God, that you you would cover us, that you would keep us safe, that you would keep us protected, you would help us to learn and be informed, God. And above all, Lord, I pray that you would help us not to be afraid, God. There is no fear in Christ Jesus, God. We do not need to be afraid. We can be confident that you've called us, that you will equip us with everything we stand in need of, God, and that you will keep us safe, God. So, Lord, help us to do on our end everything that we can do and to trust you, Jesus. So I pray as we go to our cars now that we will be safe, God, that you would help us to keep our eyes on you, Lord, get off of our phones, do everything that we just learned, put it into practice, Lord, that we would have the buddy system, that we wouldn't go places alone and go to our car alone, Lord, at night, but Lord, that you would help us to be aware and assess, God, and avoid and act on what you have now taught us to do, God. We know that you cover us, that you protect us, God. So now go before us. Put a hedge on each side and before and behind, God, as you say in the Psalms. God, hedge us in with our families, Lord. So we trust you, we love you, and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, we have security guards if you need them to walk you to your cars, okay? If not, God bless you.